So hello and welcome to Bitesize Edge and a happy new year to you all. Today I have the very fabulous Arabella Underwood, also known as Ari to those who know her. And Ari is an HR director for a consultancy company and she covers Europe and Israel. And she's also just taken on the global remit for learning and development, which sounds very exciting for 2020. So hi Ari and happy new year.
Hi, Jules. Happy New Year to you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I've eaten way too much, drunk too much over the season, and looking forward to 2020.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people that I've spoken to have said the same. I know for myself, as I was saying to you just earlier, just having that overeaten and overdrunk, and it's almost like you crawl towards the beginning of January, thinking, "Hurrah! Now I have to stop." so,
Yeah,
so
I'm
life
with you.
as you say. So, Ari, talk to me a little bit because you're one of our fabulous Edgeites. You've done some NLP training with Edge. How did you learn about NLP? What was your connection to NLP and Edge?
Yeah, so I've kind of always known a little bit about NLP. I started my life as a learning and development manager, so I always introduced kind of facilitation and understanding how people learn and why they learn certain ways, and that's actually how I met Pip. So we used to work together it was T-Mobile, now obviously EE, and Pip headed up the learning and development team at EE, and I worked there as one of the design training managers. So that's going back quite a while ago. I won't tell you how long, um, but I'm going to have to, because then I ended up leaving T-Mobile around the same time that Pip did, and she went on the direction of setting up Edge, and I went to work for a company looking after their learning and development, and I did that for 12 years, and I worked my way up to an HR director, and then actually got made redundant. So I actually took voluntary redundancy and left and thought, oh my God, why have I taken voluntary redundancy? What am I going to do now? And I was really a little bit like a lost sheep. I knew that I wanted to do something different. And I'd followed Pip on Facebook and seen all the wonderful journeys that other people had taken, and I attended a taster day, and that was I think I finished in the February 2017, and then went to a taster day, I think in the end of the February time, and I was blown away. I was really blown away. It was great to see Pip again. I'd always loved attending any of the workshops that she ran, because she's got this real kind of infectious enthusiasm, and it was really some of the I kind of went away thinking, God, these tricks that she's done are amazing. I could really, well, this is so exciting, and decided to enroll in the April, so just before my birthday. And I came on a course, and that was a real kind of week of self-learning, if I'm honest with you. So I don't think that the first time I went in thinking, I'm going to start using NLP as part of my everyday life, as part of my career, and it really kind of helped me understand the things that I wanted from life, and what I didn't want, and relationships that I'd had with people, and why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. So, 'cause it sounds a bit, I don't know, it sounds a bit kind of wishy-washy, um, uh, a bit wussy almost, how I was, but I think it helped give me a bit of direction, and understand what I wanted to do next. And then and I'd really struggled with going to interviews, because I hadn't gone to interviews for 12 years. So actually, all of the bits that we did about understanding people's behaviour and building up rapport, really, really helped me with interviews, which enabled me to get my job that I'm in now.
Fabulous. And when you just going back a step, Ari, before you came and did your practitioner course in that April, just before your birthday, did you have any idea what you wanted to do when you took voluntary redundancy and walked away with no other job to go to?
No, I thought that I wanted to set up my own consultancy, because that's kind of what everybody was telling me that I should do. Oh, you've got so much experience, you should set up on your own. And that's what I did do. And I'd actually already got some consultancy work set up that I did for the summer. But I think having a better understanding of me and how I fit in with people, I really realised that I wanted to have kind of a permanent role, a position somewhere where I could build up longer relationships with people. So I didn't feel confident enough that I was going to be able to get the position that I wanted.
Okay.
But the other thing that was really great was the people who I met on the course. So we were all from similar backgrounds, and I've kept in touch with all of them, mainly on Facebook and through a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And it was really nice the way that we learned by practicing with and on and at each other.
Yeah.
And I think that, not only attending the course and learning about, the real kind of strategy and theory and understanding of what makes up NLP, but practicing it with people who are in the same boat, just starting, really also helped give me an understanding of the fact that I wanted to be, over the week. I mean, it was only 6 days, but we built up a real kind of family mentality, and that helped me understand where I wanted to go as well.
Fabulous. Because I think sometimes people say, within those 6 days, in a really positive way, you're in this bubble, this kind of NLP bubble where it's all safe and lovely. Well, some of the time, obviously, we like to get you to step out of your comfort zone and experience new and exciting things. But then it's almost as if you step out of that at the end of the 6 days and suddenly you're back into the real world, but with a whole new set of tools to really start implementing and using if you so wish. So I think you're right in the fact that it's lovely to have that. You said it, the kind of family mentality, and often that's what people say when they come and do the workshops and the training courses, is they find this real bond with the people that they've done the training with, because you're in that kind of like-minded space, which always, for us as trainers, is magical to watch, and always lovely to hear that people stay in contact after they finish the courses. So after you did your practitioner course, did you feel that you had a few more, I guess, I don't know, skills to go off and face those interviews?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a bit scary, and I laugh because there's been a couple of interviews where I know have gone really well, but also a couple where I know they were starting to go really badly. So I was able to use some of the tools of building rapport, not always successfully, because there's always going to be some people who you just for whatever reason can't gel with. But I knew what I needed to do in terms of my behaviours, to build a better rapport with that person. And I think that it made me more confident as well. So it enabled me to have conversations and not feel like I was a fraud pretending to be somebody who I wasn't. And that was because I'd had time to really practice what I'd already learnt. So definitely in interviews, I think building the relationships, reading people, and working out, if they thought that I was the right person for the role. And I have to say that I haven't been surprised with any of the interviews that I've left, as to whether I wanted the job or whether they wanted me in the position, if it was going to gel or not. So it's
Yeah.
definitely helped.
That is really interesting. And I'm guessing, I mean, as an HR director, one of the key things within your role is actually that connection and building relationships with people.
Yeah, it is. And I think I'd forgotten that as well, because when you're taken out of a role that you're so comfortable with, I also, when I first started this job, I was dealing with a whole load of new people, building up relationships again, and one person in particular I did really struggle with, and actually it was after coming back and speaking to you and Pip again, that I actually realised that it wasn't about me, and that there were ways and things that I could do to help build a better relationship with this person, and not take things so personally. And I do it, I must admit, it is, as an HR director, you are constantly dealing with people. And sometimes it's a wonderful experience, sometimes it's challenging.
Yeah.
And on those challenging days, it does help me to go back and think about, what I said, how I acted, and how I felt about situations, um, and see if there were things that I could have done to manage the conversations, or the whatever issue it may have been, better. And that's something that I don't think that I did really do before, which is amazing, because I was doing an L&D and an HR job and a people job for gosh, it's coming up to 20 years now, and it's only in the last few years that I've really started to analyze my behavior, and that's definitely as a consequence of the NLP learning that I've had.
Fabulous. And so we talked a little bit about, the impact of NLP within your working world. Can I ask you, Ari, about the commitment you've just made to become one of the Edgeites who are going to be running the landmark half marathon on the 29th of March? Now, when I first met you, Ari, and take this the way it's intended, running wasn't really something you were particularly excited by. Would that be correct?
Oh, absolutely. It's bonkers. Yeah, 100%. I used to. It's funny because recently, I'm sure you'll mention what I'm doing this year, but recently I've decided to raise some money, and one of the guys I went to school with is friends with me on Facebook, and he sponsored me, and he said to me, "But Ari, I don't understand. How are you running? You used to hate running. At school, we used to have a cross country once a week where we had to run for a few miles, and I used to always be walking at the back, whinging and trying to take a shortcut through the estates that I didn't have to run the whole the whole section." But yeah, I've just signed up to do the London Half Marathon with a few other guys, along with Pip, who we've set up our Edge team to raise money for. I'm doing it for Alzheimer's, and I've forgotten what Pip and Mark and you guys are doing.
Cystic fibrosis is the other.
That's it. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's
no,
New Year's catching up on me.
yeah, no,
So and I'm actually really excited to be doing this. I've always worked out. I do scuba diving, I do dance classes, boxercise, but the thought of running was always something that I thought, oh, I'd quite like to do it because I want to lose weight and get fitter. But it's something that I would never in 100 years have thought that I'd be doing a half marathon in March, which is what we're doing.
Which is what we're doing. And all being well, God willing, and my knees are okay, I am also committed to doing
Yay!
a marathon with you. So I've been on a couple of little runs and all is seeming well, Ari. So I will be there, hopefully, with all of you running. So just tell me a little bit, because if I remember correctly, there was a moment within your prac course when you came back and you... because you came and sat in on it again, didn't you? Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, I'd had, as I think I mentioned before, I'd had a real struggle and lots of challenges in my new role, and I reached out to kind of get some reframing and sit myself down and learn all of the techniques again, but instead of learning them from a kind of self-help, which it was for me, it really did. It changed the way that I feel about life at the time. And I came back to understand how I could use it more in my day-to-day work life, which I have done. But again, I found that one of the biggest changes was actually for me. And Pip and I were kind of joking about running, and we did some work on we did it on a few things actually. So anchoring. So I was thinking about being confident, and we also used
like to dislike.
Like to dislike, yeah. And
wanted to change.
I've forgotten what there were some other techniques we used as well. I had a plethora of a word I like to use
with you as well on running.
Yes,
which is quite context related. So we would have probably swished you.
We did do Swish.
And unbelievably, well, you tell what happened there.
Yeah, so we were both really excited, to be honest. Pip has done some well, she hadn't done a half marathon before. She'd done some triathlon training, and running was always something that she really disliked as well.
Yeah.
And we both decided to get up 2 days on the trot and meet at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is also unheard for me. Getting up is something I don't like doing. And we went for 2 runs, and that was that's just over a year ago now. And I have carried on. I haven't, it's not the only thing that I do. And I enjoyed it. I mean, we were laughing the whole way through it. We came back, had our breakfast laughing. It was hard, I'm not going to lie, but I feel differently about running now, and I'm able to, when people say, oh, you just get in the zone and you just feel good. The one thing that I do need is music, because that's something that we introduce into the technique as well. And I feel differently when I run with music and without. But I've signed up willingly to a half marathon the end of March.
Incredible.
It really is.
It's so, yeah, I mean, it's really inspiring to hear that that's your journey, with running. And it's not just about running, people's journeys using NLP in all sorts of different ways. And I know also, Ari, you joined me at the finish line when Pip came over the Royal Parks that she did in October. And it was interesting to observe what was going on for you as well, the kind of excitement and the emotion around it.
I could cry now. I was so excited for her, and also, a little bit jealous, which is also bonkers, because she had asked if I wanted to do it with her, and I had other things going on at the time, so I didn't manage to get a place in time. and I was so proud of her. I think, you know, she did it in an amazing time, but yeah, it was really, really emotional. It was so, and all afternoon I kept saying, oh, I wish I'd done it with her. I wish I'd done it with her. So I think, you know, that just shows that this is bonkers. It really has worked for me.
This is bonkers.
It is.
As our tagline, NLP.
It should be.
So the 29th of March, training, I'm guessing, is going to be beginning for you fairly soon, of getting out there and getting that consistency of running again.
Yeah, I've had a few runs before Christmas, and then I'm not going to lie, Christmas has taken over. I went into Christmas with lots of good intentions. And I did try to go for a run this morning with my niece, and I say try, I was really up for it, but my niece decided that she wasn't. So I think I'll be doing some solo running or coming to meet you guys for runs.
You'll have to come meet us.
Getting that, yeah,
weekend.
Definitely.
We'll get that planned in for sure. So much easier to run with people, I think. And it holds you accountable as well. So
exactly.
Looking at diaries and looking at when we can definitely do that. So just remind us once more, Ari, and I'm going to share the link anyway on this podcast. You are running for the Alzheimer's charity. That's association.
Yeah, and the reason I'm doing that is my my mum's best friend actually got diagnosed very, very quickly a few years ago, and went. She's actually still alive, but she doesn't remember any of us anymore. So I also wanted to do it for something that, you know, really meant something to me, and I think I've raised about £450 already. Wow. Because it's incredible, and there's people who have sponsored me, who are, you know, I've messaged them privately and said thank you so much, and so many people have told me that they've got grandparents or parents or even friends that have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So it's a really, really rubbish disease.
Yeah, and you're doing something fabulous in raising that money that they so need. So if anybody would like to click on the link that I'm going to share here, please do, and also follow Ari's journey, because we'll be encouraging Ari, along with obviously Pip and the others who are running, to be sharing on the Edge Facebook page. So Ari, thank you so much for talking to me today. Welcome to 2020. It feels strange, doesn't it, to say 2020, but also
weird,
really exciting. And we will be, before we know it, we'll be at that start line, ready to run a half marathon.
We will. And I'm laughing about it.
Best way, just keep laughing.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll be more than fine. We'll be awesome.
We will.
Ari, thank you so much for your time today. And I will look forward to getting our first long run in the diary.
Lovely. It's been great talking to you, Jules.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.